We're starting in grammar. Go ahead and turn to page 7 in your grammar book. Oh, here comes Jude. All right. Okay. Chase, you have your grammar book with you?
What?
Do you have your grammar book with you?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to stop whatever you're working on right now and just focus on your grammar book, okay? We're on page 7. And I see Jude is coming in here. So we're on page 7 in the grammar book. We just started. I'm recording the class because we're missing a student, so they can watch it later. We are talking about verbs today, and a verb shows action. And sometimes it links the subject to another word or it helps another verb. So verbs have different functions in a sentence. The one that's most common is action, but then there's also words that show linking and helping. And we're going to go over what those words are in just a minute here. So an action word obviously shows action or ownership. A linking verb. Think of a chain with links on it. Okay, it's linking together the subject to a noun or an adjective. And here are the word, this is the word list of all of the linking verbs that we have in English. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, all of those right there in that little list. Those are called linking verbs. Now, a helping verb is a little bit different. It helps, so it's kind of handy that they named it a helping verb because it does do that. It helps an action verb or a linking verb. The helping verb is always followed by another verb. So here, like, was running down the street, or they were going to the party, or I am helping my dad, something like that. So notice that those helping verbs come right before an action verb. Am helping, were going, was running. Okay, that's how you know it's a helping verb, and it actually helps the verb itself. The linking verb is just connecting parts of the sentence together between the subject or the adjective. So we're going to see a lot of these in this book, in this grammar book, but you're going to label all of them with a V for verb. But just know that these are the different types of verbs we're looking for. And we will practice more of that as we go through the book. Over here in the margin gives you a little quick note if you want to go back when you're ready to do your homework and refresh your memory on what we talked about. You can always just look right here in the margin. A verb shows action, links the subject to another word, or helps another verb. Remember the test, I blank or it blank. If you can fit the word there, it's a good test to see if it's a verb. I eat, I run, I sit. It walks, it chases. Any kind of a verb can fit with those words, I or it. It's not a foolproof test. So sometimes you have to watch that, okay? But those are some quick ways to determine if a word is actually a noun, a verb. So, hi, Jude, I see you're here. We're on page 7, okay, in your grammar book. Okay, cool. Now we're going to talk about the subject. The subject of the sentence is a noun or sometimes a pronoun that performs a verb action. It tells who or what the clause is about. Now, subjects and verbs always go together. They're in what they call a clause. A phrase, which we're going to talk more about later, but a phrase does not have a verb in it. A clause does. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about the two different types of sets of words. Here it says, find it. You're going to read the question and look for the verb. Ask who or what blank. So who or what is doing the thing? That'll tell you what the subject of the sentence is. And then you're just going to write V above each verb and S above each subject because they go together. The subject and verb always go together. They may not be right next to each other, but they're in the same sentence. For example, Robin had practiced archery for many years. Notice they're talking about Robin. So obviously Robin is the subject here. And then we see two verbs, had practiced. And so here's an example of a helping verb. It's helping that verb. Instead of it just saying Robin practiced archery for many years, because we're talking about a span of time in the past, we need that helping verb to help clarify that with this verb, even though it is past tense already, okay? So Robin had practiced is a better way to say that in English. So this is a helping verb, but we're still just labeling it a V for verb. Practiced is the action verb. We're still labeling it with a V for verb, okay? That's how you label the subject and verbs. Here's one more example. His skills were incredible. This is a little tricky because you might think, isn't his the subject? Because you're thinking it's a person. It's referring to Robin. But when you look at the verb were, and it's telling about the skills, right? Incredible is describing the skill, not Robin in this sentence. So his skills were incredible. So the verb here is actually a linking verb. It's linking the subject to the adjective describing the skill. So this is a little bit different here. Subject is skill, and this is what's describing the skill. His skills were incredible. I'll help you along the way here for the practice page. And then if you get stuck and you need a refresher, come back to this page. One more thing here is a strong verb. In this class, once we get more deeper into the writing part of this class, you're going to learn how to use strong verbs in your writing. And a strong verb is a verb, but it gives the reader a better image of what's going on in the sentence. For example, if I say the dog followed the cat, that word followed is a verb, right? And it's okay. It's a verb. It works. It works in the sentence. But if I say the dog chased the cat, now we have a better image of what's going on. I'm picturing a dog going fast, right? Probably jumping over the bushes and going under the stairs and up a rock and down the other side and around the tree. And, you know, you can imagine, I'm sure you've seen it before, your dog or a dog chasing a cat. So when you use a word like chased, that word is a strong verb. It gives the reader a little bit more of an image of what's happening. Okay, and that's basically what that says here in this little paragraph. In the back of the book, there's a section that talks about examples of strong verbs, and there's a place where you can collect strong verbs and make your own list. So we'll come back to that another time, but just know if you're reading a book or you're reading things in this book or your other writing binder and you like a verb that you see and you want to remember it, there's a place to write it down in the back, just to keep track of those really good words. Go ahead and turn the page to page 8. We're talking about conjunctions next. I know you know what those are, but maybe you didn't know they were called conjunctions. There's an old 70s song called Conjunction Function, and it's from Schoolhouse Rock, and it was like back when I was a little kid. And that song always sticks in my head whenever I see that word conjunction, but basically it's a song that has like a train, and each car of the train is connecting words together. So these are connecting words. Think of a train connecting the cars together. I'll share that video with you in Google Classroom and you can see what I'm talking about. It's pretty good though. Anyway, coordinating conjunction connects the same type of words, phrases, or clauses. Now, they give you what's called an acronym. And an acronym is a made-up word. Each letter stands for a word. The word is fanboys. Okay, they made up that word fanboys. And each letter stands for a conjunction word. F stands for, A, and, N, nor, B, but, O, or, Y, yet, S, so. It's a handy word to memorize because these are all of the conjunction words in English. That's all you need to know. These connect words together. The most common ones are probably and or but. Those two are used more often than others. So think of fanboys when you're looking for conjunctions, and that will help you know what words to look for. Robin strolled through the forest and whistled happily. The conjunction in this sentence is and, like in fanboys, it's the A, and it's connecting how he strolled and whistled. So it's, even though those words are not right next to each other, that's what the word and is connecting. It's two different verbs. He strolled through the forest and whistled happily. Strolled and whistled. Okay. Any questions about conjunction words? If you don't have any questions, you can shake your head no. If you do have a question, just show me your hand. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going. Let me know if you guys have any questions along the way here. Comma. Or did you have a question, Matt? Okay. We're going to talk about some commas and conjunctions, okay? So there's a couple of rules here. They always put an X over the comma for the times you don't use it. And then it says, do not use a comma before a coordinating junction when it connects two items in a series unless they are main clauses. So whenever you have two things like strolled and whistled, no comma. Then it says use commas to separate three or more. So if you have strolled, whistled, and skipped, that's three things you would have a comma between. Anytime you have three or more words that you're connecting, you're going to use a comma. That's part of the comma rules with conjunctions. And when you find these conjunctions, you're going to write CC above it. Okay, that's how we're going to label them in this book. It stands for coordinating conjunction. All right, and by the way, the pattern here is A, comma, B, comma, and C. Whenever you have three or more, that's how it looks. If it's just two, there's no comma. All right, right here, the example on the page says, Robin was brave, but reckless. Brave, but reckless. We have two adjectives here describing Robin. Robin was brave, but reckless. Since there's only two, we do not need a comma. The coordinating conjunction here is but. Remember, that's the B in fanboys up here. So if there's only two, there's no comma. Here's an example with three. He chose his arrow, pulled it back, and let it fly. You're connecting three verbs here. He chose his arrow, chose, pulled, and let it fly just means let it go. So that was an action, okay? So he chose his arrow, comma, pulled it back, comma, and let it fly. When there's three or more, put a comma between. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is contractions. I'm sure you guys know what those are. Those are when you take two words and you put them together and use an apostrophe, like is not. The contraction is isn't. Or will not is won't. It's not wilt, even though that's kind of fun to say, wilt. That's not the word. It's won't, and you use an apostrophe there. Or could not is couldn't. Those are contractions when we're blending two words together with an apostrophe. And then here's your example. Robin decided that he shouldn't give up. So the apostrophe goes wherever you took out the letter, because this originally was not, should not. We took out the O in not, so that's where the apostrophe goes. Okay. All right. I know I kind of went through that kind of quickly. Are there any questions about what we talked about so far? If not, remember, just shake your head no. No questions? Okay. Because that way, I don't know if you're like thinking of a question and I should wait for you, or if, you know, just go like this. If you don't have any questions, then I know. Okay. Go ahead and turn to page 9. This is the practice page we're going to do together. And then this is the example for the rest of the week. So when we do this one together, that should help you to know what to do for the rest of the pages that you'll have. So does anyone feel like reading the sentences for us today in the middle here? Would anyone like to read the sentences? Any volunteers? Chase is like, no.
I guess.
Okay, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Go for it.
What, the whole thing or just the ones in the middle?
Just right here in the middle.
Okay. Why was Robin Hood an outlaw under the wrath of the law? It is an interesting story for children and adults.
Nice. Okay, good reading. And we have here wrath. See how it's in bold? That tells us it's the vocabulary word. So does anyone know what wrath means? What does wrath mean? Chase, do you know what wrath means?
Really, like dread or something. Like
Wait, say that one more time.
it lasts. Hard to explain. Something not hard to explain.
Something hard to
I know.
Dread,
explain.
maybe.
I know what it is.
Okay, Matt.
Well, I know what it is, but
Like the
Yeah.
consequences of it.
Hold on a second, Matt. So Chase, I hear you. I know you know what it means. It's hard to put it into words is what you're saying. And I agree with that. That is a little tricky. So Matt, what do you think? It's this word right here, wrath. Do you know what that means?
Consequences of something?
Consequences, yeah, or punishment as a result of anger, maybe. So I don't know if you've ever heard like the wrath of God when God was angry in the Bible, you know, that was his punishment, right? Or strong anger. But you're right there, Matt. That's good. That's a good definition. So let's put a check mark by vocabulary. And then over here under market, go ahead and write in like we did last time, a, an, and the. I just like to write it in so I can remember what they are. And then those are so easy. Go ahead and find them by yourself. Look for those types of words and then label it with AR. Oops, not that one. I almost messed up. 1, 2, 3. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you should have an, the, an. Those are all AR for articles. Now, moving on to nouns. This is where I'm going to start calling on each of you to help us find these things. So I'm going to see if Alex can do this one. So it says there's 7 nouns in here. So go ahead and tell me the nouns that you see.
outlaw,
Good.
law,
Yep.
children and adults,
Children and adults. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
story,
Yes.
and law.
And law, got that one.
Robin Hood, I think.
There we go, Robin Hood. And I'm going to put a little bracket like that because it's his name has 2 words, Robin Hood. There's one more, and this one is a little tricky because it's actually wrath is a noun. And the way you can tell are a couple of things, right? Right before we have the word the. Anytime you have an article before a word, it's usually a noun. So the wrath is telling what it is, right? The wrath, even though it's anger or consequences or something like that. The way it's written in this is the wrath of the law. So it is a noun. So that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we got him. Good job, Alex. And then Chase, there's only one pronoun. Do you know where it's at?
It.
Yes, it. We need to fix that in a minute, but you're right. The part of the word that says it is the pronoun. So that's good. And then since that was so short, Chase, where is the, oh, well, first of all, before we find it, let's write fanboys in here, right here next to coordinating conjunctions. Right here was his coordinating conjunction. I want you to put fanboys in all caps like that. Now, quick quiz before Chase tells us where it is, but who knows what F stands for in fanboys? You remember? It's okay if you need to look back.
4.
Good. 4. What about A?
I'm just looking at it at this point, though.
It's okay. You can still.
And,
Okay, keep going.
nor, but, or, yet, so.
Good. Eventually, you're going to memorize those because those are short words. They're just like 2 or 3 letter words. Good. Good job, Jude. So that's right. Now back to Chase. Where is the coordinating conjunction in our sentences?
4, 4, 4. 4.
Okay, it tells us we only have 1, and you're right. I do see 4 in here in this sentence, but this one is
And.
it's and. The reason 4 is not in this sentence is because it's not connecting something. And is connecting 2 nouns right here. You see that? Children and adults. So 4 does throw people off sometimes. So it was a good guess, Chase. Right here, though, it's and because it's connecting the 2 nouns. 4 has another function in this sentence. So it's not a coordinating conjunction. Okay. Put a check by that. Now we're on to prepositional phrases. Now, remember, we talked about that last week, and you guys marked your prepositional phrase page in the back of your book here. So I'm going to have Matt start with one of those. Just find one. Remember, it starts with a preposition and ends on a noun. So can you tell me one of
Back
them?
to remind myself what a prepositional phrase is.
That's okay. That's good practice. So remember last week we made this little sticky here. Go to that page in the back of your book and you
I
got
looked
your
at
handy
that.
dandy list.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it starts with a preposition, one of those words, and then it ends on a noun. So I'll help you find it from there. I know this is kind of new for some of you. While you're looking, Matt, keep looking. You know it's not going to be the ones we already labeled. So now narrow it down to what's left here that doesn't have a label on top of it. And that'll help kind of narrow down your options. And we see interesting here, but we know that's an adjective describing the story. So it's not going to be that. Was is a linking verb here. So what I recommend is starting to look for the things like under or of or for. You see any of those words in there?
And for children and adults, the preposition.
Yeah, thanks for helping him. That's right. I know Matt was looking, but for children and adults, very good, Chase, because, and that's another reason why for is not a coordinating conjunction, because in this sentence, it functions as a preposition. For children and adults, that's a prepositional phrase. Matt, do you see another one?
I think maybe and. Oh wait, no, that's already underlined.
Yeah.
Maybe what was?
Was is a verb, so no, it's not going to be that one. Look for under in your list in the back there. Do you see under? It's alphabetized, so that's the nice
I
thing.
do see that.
Good. Okay, so that tells us that is a preposition. So what would be the phrase? Remember, it has to end on a noun. So what would the phrase be?
Maybe wrath
Starts right here. Yeah, say the whole phrase.
under the wrath.
Yes, good. That's right. Under the wrath. That is the prepositional phrase. Very good. And then Alex, there's one more. Do you know where that one is?
Of
Yes, good. So what's the whole phrase?
the law.
Yes, you got it. So that's how you guys can do that for your homework. If it already has a label, it's not going to be that one. So look for the other words on that list. And here's another tip. If you struggle with prepositional phrases, you can finish marking everything on your list and leave the prepositional phrases for the very last thing you look for. And then it's even easier to find. So, all right, put a check by that. Good job, guys. I'm going to go back to Jude here. We need to look for subject verb pairs. Remember, every sentence has a subject and a verb pair. So let's start with the first sentence. Why was Robin Hood an outlaw under the wrath of the law? Who are we talking about in that sentence, Jude?
Robin Hood.
Yep. So put an S above the N. This is the only time you mark things with two labels is when you're identifying the subject of the sentence. So you're right, Robin Hood. And then to find the verbs, there's only one verb in this sentence. It's kind of tricky. It's a linking verb. Do you know where that one is? Jude?
Not yet.
So we know it's not Robin Hood or any of these because we've already identified those. So it's either going to be Y or was as a verb.
Was?
Yes, that's right. Because was, remember we talked about linking and helping verbs. This is a linking verb. It's connecting the first word of the sentence to the subject here.
Okay.
Why was. So good. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to Chase. Oh, we can't put a check yet. There's more. Look at the second sentence here, Chase. It's an interesting story for children and adults. What is the subject in that sentence?
Children and adults.
Well, those are the nouns. That's true. But what are we talking about when we say an interesting story? What are we
Interesting story.
It's actually
You're referring to story or it.
It's actually referring to it. Yep. It's an interesting story. So it becomes the subject. That's a weird one. And then this is also tricky because right next to it is the verb. It's a contraction. So we actually need to put an apostrophe right here. So it represents it is, it's. So I put a little apostrophe right there. And the verb here, Chase, is actually is. So I'm going to mark it like this, SV. It's like right, it is the subject and is the verb. So it's kind of within the same word, which is kind of rare, but it does happen sometimes. All right. Put a check by that. And Alex, where do we put our capital letters?
On Y
Good.
and it's
Good.
and Robin Hood.
Yeah. Okay. Don't give it away too fast, Matt. Let her think. Robin Hood, that's right, because it's a name. Very good. And then we fixed that apostrophe. We can put a little check there. And then we need an end mark. So that's a good one. Chase, what do we need at the end of this sentence?
Period.
Yeah, just a period. There you go. Okay, just a refresher. Because probably the hardest part of this is the prepositional phrases. If you do everything else and leave that for the very, very last thing you do on the list, that will help you find it easier when you're doing your homework. And then, of course, that page at the back of your book. Any questions about this page right here? Okay, good. Then your homework is to write this down at the bottom. You're going to copy it here the correct way. And then you're also going to do page 10, 11, and 12. Those next 3 pages are part of your homework for this week for your writing. Okay, for your grammar. We're done with grammar for now. Go ahead and put this aside. Excuse me. And in your binder, because now we're moving on to the writing part of the class, we got started on a passage last week called the blue-ringed octopus, but we didn't get very far. So these pages right here should be in the front pocket of your binder. So go ahead and get out all those pages you put in the front pocket.
I did not get a chance to do this.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You left early, huh?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to suggest then is get a lined piece of paper and just copy what I have here, okay? And then you can catch up while I'm talking about it.
All right.
Everyone else should get this out. All the pages that we were working on. Give me a thumbs up if you have this in front of you. Do you have it, Chase? Do you have it, Jude? Yeah, and then Alex, you have it? Okay, good. What we were starting to do is build or make a keyword outline. I took this really slow last week because it's a new skill for you, and it's such an important thing to know how to do that I didn't want to rush too much with this. But now today we have more time. So just a little refresher, and I'm going to move this down, Matt, but you can keep, hold on, let me get it here. Working on it. Copying down what I have here. This is the original story of the blue-ringed octopus. It's actually an informational text explaining to us a real creature in the ocean and what characteristics does it have. We're not going to read the whole thing again. We're just going to get right back into building this keyword outline. And just a refresher, last week we talked about keywords in a sentence. Those are the most important words in the sentence because the goal is to be able to retell this story by only using your keyword outline. It's kind of a challenge, okay? So you want to get the most important words out of each sentence to put in your outline to help you remember what it was about. An example of not a keyword would be a word like and, or a, or the, or was. Those words are not key. Words like beak-like and cut and wetsuit, that will trigger our memory of what that sentence was about. So we're just going to go sentence by sentence and practice this. We already did the first sentence. We put it next to Roman numeral 1. That's not an I, by the way. It's a Roman numeral 1. And that is representing the first sentence of the paragraph. And then you'll see under that 1 through 6, that's because there's 7 sentences total in that paragraph. And if you add the first Roman numeral plus 6, that makes 7. And we already did the first 2. So the one right here that we put next to this Arabic 1 says feeds crabs small fish. Notice we drew the symbol of a fish. because the rules are you can only use 3 keywords. Some sentences have like 10 keywords. And it's really tricky to figure out how am I going to pick and choose which ones to put down if I have 10. So you have to really think about the most important keywords. And then every once in a while, it's okay to use a number or a symbol like this or an abbreviation. And you don't have to count those as words. Okay, so sometimes those are okay to use. An abbreviation is like for the word Monday, you could put MON with a dot, and that just abbreviates for Monday, right? Or September could be SEPT with a dot. That's an abbreviation. Sometimes we can use those too. Okay. So here we are on this sentence right here that starts with it. The sentence says it is comparable in size to a golf ball, and each arm measures about 2 inches from tip to body. So I'm going to do this one with you or for you. We're going to walk it through, and then I'm going to have you guys take turns with the
I
following
finished that.
sentences. Oh, good. You
Sorry.
got
I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's
I finished
great.
that. What page is this on?
This is page 11.
Okay, thank
You're welcome. All right, so in that sentence, I think it's really important to remember we're talking about the size of these guys. And I don't know about you, but I've been to an aquarium before in California, and the octopus that I've seen in the aquarium is big. They've got really long arms. Their head is like super big, and they're kind of cool how they move really slow. But these guys, the size of a golf ball, okay, that's pretty small. Very small, actually, for this type of a creature. So I think golf ball size is going to be important to remember. So here on number 2, let's put the word golf. And then what I'm going to do is draw a little ball, even though it kind of looks like an O, but I kind of made it darker so it looks like a ball as a symbol. So I can remember it's golf ball size. And then it talked about the arms measuring about 2 inches from tip to body. So I'm thinking I'm going to put arms as a word. And then 2 inches. Do you guys know that that's the symbol for inch in math? It's like 2 little hash marks like that. Let me zoom in so you can see that better. This is the symbol for inches, in case you didn't know that in math. The little hash marks like that. So we've got golf ball, arms, 2 inches, and then it says from tip to body. And I'm just going to put tip and then an arrow. From tip to maybe a letter B to help us remember body, from tip to body. Okay, so here's the thing about these keyword outlines. You're going to notice as you're doing this with me, everybody's keyword outline is eventually going to look different, because maybe I think these are the best words to use, but you might have a better idea. I know Chase has done this a lot before last time in class. So he's probably already thinking of other ways to put that. And that's okay for now, because the rest of you are new to this. I'm going to have you just put exactly what I have on mine. So Chase, since you've done this before, let's look at the next sentence together and see if it starts right here, the blue ringed octopus. Go ahead and read the sentence first, and then tell us what keywords you think we should put down.
Well, blue ringed octopus found on sandy ocean bottoms and coral reef found
Okay, keep going. You're not done. Coral reefs of Australia.
New Guinea,
Guinea.
Indonesia, the
Uh-huh.
Philippines, and Japan.
Yeah, so a lot of
So-
countries listed there. It's going to be tricky. What do you think?
Found sandy found coral reef.
I like those
No,
words
'cause-
you're thinking about. That's too many, but you're on the right track.
Well, you can't list all the countries for
You're right. There's too many.
found coral reef.
Yeah, I think I like the word reefs. And then maybe can we list 2 countries? That'll give us 3 words altogether. What if we did reefs? And then you can pick what 2 countries. What do you think, Chase?
Why is it?
Yeah, pick 2 of the countries that you think we should mention.
Well, Australia.
And what else?
And New Guinea.
Okay. New Guinea is 2 words, but because it is one name of a country, you can count it as 1 word. So you guys see how I did that, the rest of you? Sometimes there's really, those are all great keywords, but we can't, the rule is only 3 and we can't break that rule. So we have to just narrow it down to only 3 words. I think reefs is important. You know, those are the things that grow under the water that are like an ecosystem under the water. And that's where these guys live. Okay, that's where they're found. It's like seaweed and coral and lots of things growing under the ocean. That's where these particular octopus live. Okay. Looking at the next sentence, I'm going to have Matt do the next one. And it starts right here with, it is, I'll just read the sentence. It is hard to spot as it uses camouflage for self-defense. So what are some keywords that you see there, Matt?
Where is that? Where are you reading? Right now?
I'm reading right here where it says it is, right after the word Japan. It is hard to spot as it uses camouflage for self-defense.
The keywords, camouflage,
Yes.
self-defense.
Yes, those are good words. Yes. Those camouflage, well, actually self-defense is a hyphenated word, so we can count that as 1. So technically you can put 1 more word there. How can we describe hard to spot?
Hard to spot. How can we describe it? What do you?
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'll show you what I'm thinking here, because remember, we can only have 3, and you already picked camouflage and self-defense, which are excellent keywords, but we have to figure out how can we describe hard to spot. So here's what I'm going to suggest. We put the word hard, and then we draw 2 eyeballs to remind us that it's hard to see or hard to spot. And then we can put that word camouflage. And then self-defense. And remember, it's hyphenated, so we can count that as 1. Self-defense. Does that make more sense, Matt?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so sometimes we can use a little picture or a little symbol, like the eyeballs here, to help us remember it's hard to see. The passage says hard to spot, but it's the same meaning. Hard to see because it camouflages itself for self-defense. That'll help you remember what that sentence was about. All right, so Alex, where are we at here? Do you see on the article where it says to stay away, it changes color from brown to bright yellow with blue rings. So looking at that sentence only, what are some keywords you see there?
Bright yellow.
Yes. Yes.
Brown.
Yes. Okay, so those are all really good keywords, but those are too many, so it's going to be hard to narrow it down here.
It changes color.
Yeah, I think changes and color, I think that's good. Both of those are kind of condenses it down a little bit. So we can say changes color. And we know it changes color, but maybe we could add rings to that for the third word because that is something different that happens to them. What do you think, Alex?
Yep.
She says, yep. Okay. Rings. Changes colors and has rings. Good. You guys are doing great. Okay, Jude. Look at the last sentence of that first paragraph. Its beautiful, unusual coloring makes it a must-find creature for many underwater photographers. That's a lot of information, but how can we condense that down to 3 keywords? I mean, first we can talk about all the keywords and then we can help you narrow it down to 3 if you want to do it that way.
Well, if I had multiple color pens, I'd put beautiful and then use like 3 different colors and then just put 3 dots.
That would be pretty smart, actually. Nobody's actually thought of that one. Very good. Okay, but since we only have 1 color today, so you're thinking maybe beautiful coloring. What else would you say is a keyword there?
Must find.
Must find, and that's considered 1 because it's hyphenated. Any other keywords?
We know it's a creature, obviously.
Good thinking.
For photographers, or just not for, but just photographers, just to have, you'll know it's for. I mean,
Yeah. I like your thinking. That's exactly right, Jude. And that's how you process the sentence and get it down to what the most important parts are. So I like that. So we could do maybe use unusual instead of beautiful. We can use unusual. And then I like must find and then photographers. Is that what you're thinking?
yeah.
Perfect. Let's do that. Unusual. And then must find is in quotes because it's kind of like a saying. Must find. And then photographers. Excellent. Notice in our article, we have 2 paragraphs. So we do need to set up the second paragraph for this. So I want you to skip a line under number 6, and you're going to write Roman numeral 2. This is going to represent the second paragraph of this article. And lucky for you, I've already counted the sentences, and there's 6 altogether. So we need to put 5 under the Roman numeral. So go ahead and number 1 to 5. You're getting the hang of this. You're doing a really good job getting the hang of this. So looking back, I'll leave that there, make sure everybody's got it. So Roman numeral 2 looks like that. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to start with Chase here. And we're on to paragraph 2. So look at the first sentence there, Chase. Go ahead and read this sentence and then tell us what keywords you think we should put.
Which sense, while all octopuses are venomous, only the blue-winged octopus is deadly. It's human.
Good. Okay. So what do you think we should put, Chase?
Only octopus deadly.
Yeah. But we have to identify the octopus. Is there a way we can kind of identify which one? The blue ringed octopus, right? I have an idea. What if we called it, what if we abbreviated it BRO, even though I know that sounds like bro, like what's up, bro? But BRO in this one stands for a blue ringed octopus. We could use that as a symbol. I mean, not a symbol, but an abbreviation. So what if we put venomous? Do you like that, Chase?
What? I didn't hear you.
Okay, so put venomous, and I liked how you said that the octopus is deadly. We need to make sure to say that in our outline. But what if we did BRO? And by the way, let's just circle on our title here, BRO, just so that later when you go to do your homework, you go, oh yeah, BRO stands for blue ringed octopus, not my brother. Okay. Okay, venomous, and then the blue ringed octopus, deadly and humans. I think that's where you were going with that, Chase. Your microphone was kind of cutting out a little bit, but I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so all octopus are actually venomous. I didn't know that. But the blue ringed octopus is deadly to humans. That's the only one that's deadly to humans. Okay, let's go back to Matt on this one. I'm here where it says at first. This is a short sentence.
Well, I think it's bite, painless, and first.
Okay. Or seem.
I wasn't thinking seam, but
Bite. So first, bite, painless. Is that what you're thinking?
yeah.
Or putting first at the end. Bite, painless, and then first.
Yeah.
Like at first, you'll remember that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's do it. Bite, painless, first, and we'll just remember that's at first. Good. How about Alex? But the powerful neurotoxic venom quickly causes numbness of the lips and tongue. That's a lot.
Venom, and powerful, and numbness.
Good. Venom, powerful, and numbness.
Yes.
Let's do it. Venom, powerful, numbness. And I guess we could. Lips and tongue, that's pretty easy to draw, right? Kind of. Maybe.
Who's here, Mom?
There.
She's-
Lip.
Today he came a bit early.
Maybe we just draw some
Oh, yeah,
lips if
maybe
you know
I'll
how
read
to draw
for a
that.
second.
That way it's like a little symbol and we can remember what part of the body becomes numb. That's lips. In case you're wondering what I just drew right there, those are lips. No judging around here, right? Okay. Jude, let's see, you're here. This is followed by difficulty in breathing caused by paralysis and then shutdown of the senses.
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay. Jude is looking at it.
I don't know how to draw any of these things. I guess breathing, paralysis, and then shut down, and like maybe like show like a stick man as like your body shutting down.
I like those three words. Breathing. I wonder if we could do, here's another idea that sometimes we use. You know how you go to the beach and sometimes there's a sign that has a little picture of a dog and it's circled and with a line through it and it means like no dogs allowed. What if it just means not when you circle a word and draw a line through it? What if we put breathing and circle it and then do like a symbol like that over the top of it?
Okay.
That's like representing difficulty breathing, but I do like paralysis. You said that one. paralysis, and shutdown. That's good. We're almost there. So Chase, next sentence. Okay, wait, actually, before you do the next sentence, because we're running out of time really fast here. So I'm gonna have you finish these two as part of your homework, okay? And then here's what you're gonna do with this. Part of our class is learning how to do public speaking, okay? But part of that practice is learning how to talk to somebody with your mouth, right? And tell them something important. And so you have this outline now in front of you, and this is how you test your outline to see if it makes sense. So you're going to do this at home with your mom or your dad or whatever grown-up you have at home that's available for you to practice this on. And you're going to look down, and as I'm looking at my outline, I'm looking at Roman numeral 1, and I see beak-like, cut, and wetsuit. And then in my head, I'm going to think of a sentence, a complete sentence using those words. So I'm going to think for a second, and then I'm going to look up at the camera and say my sentence to you like this. The blue-ringed octopus has a beak-like mouth that can cut through a wetsuit. It's different than the original sentence. It's my own sentence, and I'm only using the keywords. Okay, let me try the next one for you. It feeds on crabs. Oops, I forgot what the other one. Okay, it feeds on crabs and small fish. Simple. I used all the words. I looked away from my paper up at the camera, and I said the sentence. Let's go on to Arabic number 2 there, where you see golf ball. Look at your outline really quick. And I'm going to see if Matt, actually, no, I left off with Chase. Chase, use those words for the regular number 2 and tell us a complete sentence.
So number 2,
Yes.
size, like, well, size is like, the size of the blue-ringed octopus is like a golf ball.
That's a good start. You have more information there. You have arms 2 inches, tip to body. So keep going.
What? Do you want me to not use?
Okay, let me share my
I've
screen.
already-
Right here. Are you looking at this one on yours where it says golf ball, arms, 2 inches, tip, arrow B? Do you see that on your outline?
No, I did this part as my homework, and then so golf. Oh, golf octopus arms. 2 inches. Oh no. Golf. The size of the octopus is like a golf ball, 2 inches.
Okay, good. I think what's happening is your outline has something a little bit different than that, but you're on the right track. Let's see if Jude can do this next one here. Reefs, Australia, New Guinea. So look at those. I'm going to stop the share. You look at your outline and think of a sentence, and then look up and tell us a complete sentence.
Two of the places that this octopus inhabits are, sorry, and I looked down, Australia and New Guinea.
Okay, good. That's good. You forgot the word reefs.
Oh,
So try it one more time. You're very close.
wait, let me look down again.
That's okay.
One of the places that this creature inhabits is the reefs of Australia and New Guinea. I mean,
Good.
two of the places.
Two of the places. There you go. But you got all the keywords in there and you're just making it complete. Good job, Jude. That's a good one. Okay, so let's see if Matt, go ahead and do number 4. We have hard, and then we've got eyes, camouflage, self-defense. See if you can think of a sentence and then look up and tell us a whole sentence.
It is hard to see and has very good self-defense.
Okay, don't forget camouflage.
It has very good camouflage and has very good self-defense.
You're getting there. You said very good twice. So just take a minute. I know we're going a little long today. I'm almost done. Okay. Try to think of a whole sentence using hard to see.
It is hard to see. It has great camouflage and it has very good self-defense.
Okay, good. All right. That'll work. Nice. Good job. And then Alex, how about number 5 where it says changes, color, and rings?
It changes color with its blue rings.
Okay, good. Or and has blue rings. You can also say it that way. Okay, let me share my screen one more time here because I want you to write one more thing. Sorry, we're going long. Under 5, I want you to skip 2 lines and then I want you to write parent, if my pen will work, signature. And then I want you to draw a line. Okay, so this is what your homework is going to be. Go ahead and write parent signature. You already know your grammar homework, so you're going to work on that. You're going to finish the last 2 sentences here on your keyword outline. You'll use the last 2 sentences to come up with those keywords, finish 4 and 5, and then you're going to retell the whole article to your parent, somebody, an adult at home, okay? And you're going to do the same thing where you look down, think of a sentence, look up at your parent, say the sentence, look down, look at the next one, think of a sentence, look up, say the sentence, look down, look at the words, think of a sentence, look up, say the sentence. You get the pattern, right? So by the end, you will have told the whole article over again to your parent. And then when your parent signs it, that tells me you did it. So if your parent goes, why do I have to sign this? Tell them, because I have to tell you, I have to retell this story to you. And then you're signing it. That proves that you did that. Okay, Jude, do you have a question?
I'm sorry, I have to go. I gotta be to my track.
I'm sorry. Okay, Jude, I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good job. Any other questions before you go?
No.
Okay. Chase, no. Alex and Matt. Okay, see you guys next week.